I feel like Terrence Fletcher is yelling at me. For the final, father freaking time, say it louder! I'm upset! Why am I upset? Well, I'm upset because one particular guy on the Tampa Bay Lightning ended up going out there and putting on a show today. But I think the biggest question a lot of us are asking is, hey man, Brandon Hagel, where the hell was that at the Olympics? He comes over to Milano Cortina, does nothing, gets a goal in 6 games, then comes back to Tampa and all of a sudden he's Wayne Gretzky? Who does he think he is, this Brandon Hagel? Brandon Hagel and the Tampa Bay Lightning have defeated the Montreal Canadiens in Game 4 of their 2026 Stanley Cup Playoff Series, tying it up at 2 apiece. The Montreal Canadiens have a lot to be upset about. And for me personally, as a Canadiens fan, watching this game and watching the series, obviously, I'm rooting for my Habs to go out there and do some damage. But you can't do too much damage when you're going out there and blowing leads. Lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, the Montreal Canadiens had a 2-0 lead in this contest, but they lost in regulation because of Brandon Hagel and Jake Guentzel. That Hagel, by the way, 2 goals in the game in the 3rd period. So hell yeah, I'm upset. Miles Teller is telling it like it is. Montreal just choked this game away, and I understand that there were elements of the game that you can say took the life out of it for the Canadiens. The Andrei Vasilevskiy hit, you could say that the officiating was all over the place. Montreal, however, despite the fact that they capitalized on a power play in this hockey contest, they didn't do as much as they needed to do to come away with the win. In fact, both teams kinda stunk on the power play. I mean, Tampa Bay was 1 for 7, Montreal 1 for 6. I don't know any playoff team that's going to go out there and win any championships scoring at 15% on their power plays. Either this was just the most well-defended series so far, or both teams are just not really doing too much when they get the extra man. And speaking about those power plays, I'm not going to say necessarily that I lean one way or the other, but I will say that there were some calls, especially on Tampa, that might have been a little soft. Kirby Dach also avoided a very obvious slash at Crozier after the Andrei Vasilevskiy hit. John Cooper, super upset, yelling his lungs off at the referees to go on a 5-on-3, but it didn't actually go through. This was late in the 2nd period when Mike Matheson got a slash on Brayden Point. You also had Jake Guentzel with a pretty hilarious slashing call on Jakub Dobes. He comes in, takes a shot, Dobes makes the save, and then Guentzel just kind of gives Dobes a little bit of a tap on the glove, and that's good enough to call slashing. Was it a light tap? Yes, I think we could probably say that. Was it a light call? Honestly, I can see it going either way. I don't know if that's necessarily a call in the postseason, per se, but in general, I don't think the NHL wants to encourage that kind of behavior, so I see why they called it. I'm just surprised that it was called, to begin with. And for Tampa Bay's sake, I mean, even though the penalty was called, it was such a dagger to the Lightning because Cole Caufield ended up scoring immediately on that man advantage. Either way, let's go over all of the goals in this one. Just take a look at where everything came from. We can skip over the big hits. We can skip over the rough stuff because, believe me, there was a lot of that in this hockey game. Andrei Vasilevskiy, thank goodness he was actually able to come back. But opening goal of the game, it's Zach Bolduc in the 2nd period. Jakub Dobes makes a nice save off of the long shot from Darren Radish, and he notices that Alexandre Texier has some room ahead of him and to the right. So Dobes kick saves the puck right up to Texier, who's got some room. He throws it into the middle for Caden Gooley, who then sends a long pass forward for Zachary Bolduc. Bolduc comes in one-on-one against Darren Radish. He protects the puck as he comes down. Radish is all over his backside trying to shove him off of the puck, but as they go towards the front of the net, that puck is still going. Andrei Vasilevskiy then pokes the puck, it then deflects upwards, hits Bolduc in the midsection, and follows through in the back of the net. It's a terrible goal. Like, if we're going to be real here, that's not a goal that should be going in from a goalie perspective. You poked it and then it bounced off of your poke off the guy and then in. But sometimes you gotta be good to be lucky, and Zachary Bolduc exemplified that pretty well on this play. Montreal up early in this second period, 1-0, and that continues as Cole Caufield on the power play takes advantage of that terrible Jake Guentzel slash. Suzuki squeaks his way down the left half boards, thwarts off the check of the defense. Cole Caufield, who is down low, ends up squeaking right in front, and all it takes is 1 second for Suzuki to see Caufield. He throws it across, and bing, bada, boom, it's in the back of the net. What a beautiful play there by Suzuki and Caufield. 2-0 game for the Montreal Canadiens. And you already know by now that that's all the game wrote in terms of Montreal goals, because all the other goals afterwards came at the hands of the Tampa Bay Lightning. You see, it didn't stay 2-0 for long. With 1 minute to go in the third period, you have Jake Guentzel, who ended up scoring his first of the series. He drives the puck around wide, circles the net, throws it over to JJ Moser, who comes down the right side, then he throws it back across for Guentzel, who is coming in on the left. It's a really nice give-and-go play, and that goal really gave the Tampa Bay Lightning some life towards the end of that third period. Now, Montreal, this is where you started to see them get into some trouble in the third period. Opening things up, Josh Anderson boarding on Ryan McDonough 41 seconds in. And the Tampa Bay Lightning strike quick and early to take advantage of this power play. Guentzel goes over to Kucherov, back to Guentzel. He is up there, right side point. Kucherov again in front, and Hagel on the back door is able to get it by the defense and Jakub Dobes. That Hagel then 14 minutes later deflects a shot from Nikita Kucherov. He is like right at the half boards. Kucherov gets the pass back from the D and just whips it towards the goal. It goes off of Hagel and in. Unfortunately, he got the proper positioning there on Mike Matheson, was able to be in the right spot to let the puck bounce off of his midsection and by the goalie. Brandon Hagel has scored his 6th goal in 4 games this playoff series, and I'm just sitting here thinking, where the hell was that at the Olympics, buddy? Why were you not able to do anything like that when suiting up for Team Canada? Like, are you telling me this guy only comes alive when he plays in a blue and white sweater? Something doesn't feel right about that, in my opinion, but still, Brandon Hagel, he has been a thorn in Montreal's side this entire series. At first, we thought it would be a duel between him and Juraj Slafkovsky night in and night out for the goal prosperity lead, but no, it's just been Hagel. Juraj Slafkovsky ended up getting demolished in the neutral zone by Maxwell Crozier, and this is one of those plays where, upon video review, upon multiple times seeing it, I was like, man, that's a really clean hit. Juraj Slafkovsky just straight up was not paying attention. He had his head looking at the puck. He wasn't really focused on where he was going particularly, and it opened the door for a wild, crazy body check at the hands, or I guess the shoulder of Crozier. Slafkovsky did return, so obviously that's ideal. We want to see him be able to participate in these games, but another day, another game where Juraj Slafkovsky doesn't get any points here. Caufield and Suzuki, they did their part, I guess. They each got a point on that 2-0 goal, but for the most part, we are still seeing a lot of offense come from Montreal's third line, I guess you can say. It's Texier, it's Bolduc, last game it was Doc. Montreal has lost this game, and the series is now tied. Brandon Hagel, man. I'm upset. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.